Today, let's talk about refunds and guarantees and how they can actually get you more sales of your online course. But there's some decisions you need to make, so let's go.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here's your host, Julie Hood.
All right, so good to be with you this week. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you being here. I want to make sure you knew about the free mini course that you can grab in the show notes. It's called Is My Course Idea Any Good? And it gives you a way to just do a quick 15-minute assessment of your idea and kind of see if it's good, or it'll definitely point you in the if it's not good. You will find that out by the end of the mini course. So grab that in the show notes. I'll link it up for you. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about refunds and some of the decisions that you need to make around your guarantee and your refund policies to help maximize your course revenue and sell the most courses. So it does definitely impact how many sales you can make, especially for people who are on the fence and they aren't quite sure if they want to jump into your course or not, if they're not quite sure if it's right for them. If they know that they can go back and they can get a refund, they are more likely to go ahead and sign up. So some of the things that we need to talk about, though, is how long is your refund period going to be? Is it a no questions asked kind of refund, or do they have to do something specific? Or what are you going, like, is it immediate that they get an immediate refund? All these things are kind of important. And so I want to dig in a little bit more on deciding. So standard advice is that a 365-day refund period is the most likely to help you get more sales. So that means you give people a year to do a refund. However, there are some downsides to this, and I'll tell you kind of my angle on it. I recognized that if I had a 365-day period where people could access everything I do, come to all the coaching, get all of this advice for an entire year, and then decide, oh yeah, I have a bill this month, so I want a refund on my course. That would drive me crazy. So I do not do 365-day refunds. What I do is for my larger courses, I have a 14-day refund policy. So that basically means jump into the course with me, do a few sessions of coaching, explore the course a little bit, see if it's for you, and if you decide at that point that it's not for you, then refund. You have 14 days. You should be able to figure it out in 14 days. If not, then you're on, that's kind of the way it works for the way I want to move forward. And I do that intentionally so that I don't get a lot of folks that use refunds as a way to pay surprise bills. So I don't think that's a good idea. You shouldn't be signing up for things and then asking for refunds just because you need cash. So 14 days lets you figure out if this is the right program for you or not. But the good advice is, as the owner, you can decide what you want to do. So there's 5 kind of key questions that you need to ask when you're putting together your policy. And the first one is, does your course hosting or tool that you're using have a specific refund policy? So there are some websites, depending on where you're putting your course, that say people need 30 days or people need 60 days. So just check that out. And sort of question number 2, kind of related to that, are there any legal requirements either for where you live or maybe for your merchant accounts? Like, is there any specifics that they have on managing refunds? So that's question number 2. Are there any legal requirements? Question number 3, are you a no questions asked kind of refund? So that means if somebody signs up with your program and for any reason whatsoever, they can get their money back. Or do you have something that's more like, you need to try out the program, we need to see your homework, you need to have logged in, and so that we can see that you've done the work and you haven't gotten the results? That's a little bit different kind of refund. So you're kind of putting it on to the student that they have to show that they did the work of your course, but they didn't get results. So both of them can work. It just kind of depends on what it is that you want to have for your course, and how much sales you're willing to sacrifice if your refund policy isn't generous enough. So, for example, if there are people who want a 365-day refund policy from me, I will sacrifice those sales if they need to have that. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And so that's question number 4 is, do you require any kind of proof of work to get the refund? And I think to build a better rapport is to just give folks the refund, no questions asked. You don't want someone who's really unhappy with you spreading messages about how your course is. So make sure that you're treating people the best way possible for this situation, if that makes sense, because negative comments can spread pretty easily. So let's just keep people happy, but you do want to be specific and make sure that your policies are posted on your sales pages so that your folks who, when they sign up, it says right there exactly what the policy is so that they know. You don't want to surprise people with the way your refund policy works. And then question number 5 is, how will they get their refund? So, will it be back on the same credit card that they purchased with? Are you giving them credit? Which I don't see very often. Most of the time it's just you get paid back wherever it was that you purchased the course. And then I have a little homework for you for this week, is for the next few weeks, just kind of pay a little bit more attention to the guarantees that you see out in the world and see which ones you like or you don't like, or kind of the nuances of how they phrase them, or the details behind how the guarantee is put together, because we want to see what's the perfect setup for you and how are you going to share it, how are you going to implement it, and how will you have all those pieces falling together so your students are not surprised, you're not surprised, and it all is easy for everybody involved. And then the next little part of this that I want to make sure I mention to you is to not take excuses for refunds personally, or maybe even take them too seriously. Unless you get a bunch of people all refunding for the same reason, then you need to jump up and be like, okay, I've got a problem here. Like maybe they're all saying they couldn't get in to take the actual course. Then that's a technical issue. You do have to fix that kind of thing. But what I've tend to see happen over the years with refunds is, for some emotional reason of whatever, folks will decide, hey, I need to refund this. And then they step back and they start logically looking for a reason why they have to refund. So it's not always a legitimate problem or a real issue. It's them logically trying to find a reason and an excuse. So I don't take refund things too seriously. I read them, I pay attention, but I don't take them as gospel that I need to change something with my whole business. Okay. And then the last part about this that I just want you to remember, and I had a coach tell me this once and it makes a lot of sense. Refunds are just one more cost to doing business. So for example, when someone signs up for my $997 course, even when I refund them, I still have to pay an additional $30 in fees. That was the processing fees. And that's just a cost of doing business. that is not something I need to recoup from them or take back from them. That's just one more cost, like hosting my courses or paying for my website hosting or paying for my tools. Those fees are simply a cost of doing business. So you just build those in, and you know that you will have hopefully not very many. I have very few, but just know that that's going to happen. That's one more thing that you pay for, and don't let it create a lot of difficulty or challenges for you. And the good news is, once you figure out this whole refund thing and you get it set up and you understand what's going to happen, then it's just something you set up once and it goes. Like, you don't have to constantly be revisiting it or changing it or any of that. You just figure out what your process is going to be, how you're going to remove access if somebody does ask for a refund, and then you just go with it. And so on a lot of the other things we do, we're constantly creating content or we're constantly sending out emails. Refund policy is just one of those things. Spend a few minutes, figure out your policy, set it up, and then just run with it. So hopefully this was helpful. Nice, short, and sweet episode this week, and I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to all my new listeners from Podfest. If we just met at Podfest this week, welcome. I had a blast connecting and chatting with you all about online courses, so I'm excited to have you here. And make sure you grab that freebie about whether your course idea is any good or not. That's in the show notes, or you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/139, and that will take you to the page so you can see that link and all the other links so that we can stay connected. Appreciate you all. Thanks for sharing your earbud space with me this week. Have an incredible week, and we will catch you next on next week's episode. Take care.